So we are spiritually, karmically, energetically attracted to all of the wounds and other people that match our wound so we can heal it. And that's our soulmate. Our soulmate is our soul teacher.
Kailen, welcome to the whole shebang. It's great to have you here today.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to when I put the word out about this February series on love, dating, relationships. I got a lot of positive feedback like, ooh, we cannot wait. Please bring on someone that's going to talk about dating and how to have a successful relationship. I'm like, we will. I just don't know who yet. And then my dear friend Jennifer brought you to my attention. So I'm so thankful you're here today and for the time that and wisdom that you're going to offer us.
Oh, good. I'm grateful. Thank you.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit, if you don't mind, if you can give us an introduction to who you are and how you got into this work, a little bit of your background.
Yes. So I am Kailen Rosenberg, and I'm known as a celebrity love architect. And I think part of that celebrity piece is that after working for about 10, 15 years, it's been a total of almost 30 now, but about 10, 15 years into my work helping heal people and their love lives and connecting singles with their perfect, really person for them, and also healing marriages, ended up having the opportunity to work in Los Angeles primarily and with some pretty well-known names and celebrities. And so hence a celebrity love architect, architecting love in people's lives. And I have a background in DBT. I'm certified as a master level life relationships and love coach. I have a specialized training in addictions, primarily love addiction, which is actually a very real thing. And my heart and my focus has just always been to teach people how to have and how to recognize love and the energy of love, the power of love, so that they can have it in their lives, first for and with themselves, really then within their romantic partnerships, relationships, and their families, and then really the community and our world at large. I'm very happily married. I've been with my honey for almost 26 years, and we have three amazing boys. And I've been through a lot that many people have been through or are going through, and so it's given me the opportunity to not just dive in expertise that comes from, yes, formal training, but also my own walk in life and through love and through divorce and through custody battles and depression. And there, I've been there, done that, and have walked through it by the grace of God. And in a place that I've not only had really extraordinary healing and love in my life, but now I'm able to help others have it. So that's who I am. And what I do.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing all that. There's a lot that I want to dive into. Let's go back if we can and talk about love. You mentioned, I love how you said that love is recognized as a healing power and the energy of love. And specifically, you said self, others, community. And I like to think of that as a bit of like a target, like here is the heart of the matter, and it starts with self and then moving outwards. I think that's just a beautiful sort of paradigm to look at love as. But can you start and talk about what do you mean when you say that love, the healing power, the healing energy of love, what does that mean to you?
Mm-hmm. I tried my best to describe it in my book, but I love what you just said and how you said it, starting with our heart, right? So you said, our heart, it's in us. It's within us. We often think of love, and even like with Valentine's Day around the corner, we recognize, the heart-shaped boxes of chocolates or truffles or the candies. So the heart starts within us. Love starts within us. If you believe in something higher than yourself, that love is an energy that is connected to source, our higher power, our creator, brought in, meant and intended for us, for healing. And when we finally have or know what it means to have love truly within and for ourselves at our highest spiritual ability, then we are energetically radiating love. We are truly being and becoming love. And then that is energetically healing. It's a calming force. It is a healing force that not only attracts love in and with someone else, but where there isn't love or there hasn't been love, it creates a calm and a healing. which then when we have that as individuals, then whether it's as individuals on our own, individuals that are others, or within our relationship, let's say we have a family, let's say we have kiddos, and our kiddos are being learning love that way, to love themselves, to know their value, to love others. Now we no longer have the bullying on the playground. We no longer have the animosity and the quick triggers to be harmful to someone else. And so now we have a better society, and then therefore we then have a better world. And so that is how love, the energy of love, the feeling of love, the experience of love is healing. And so I believe that everything that is painful in our lives and in our world is just honestly simply a disconnect from love that is always hovering beautifully, energetically, waiting for us powerfully at every moment, all the time, just waiting to be tapped into. We don't have to go find it, it's right there. And when we finally know it, things just shift.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that. I love how you said that. My experience of that, like what I'm wanting to ask you as well, if I don't feel like I have love, or for the people that are listening that are like, what does that mean? I don't like if they feel like what you're saying is foreign, which I think some people might if they're not tapped into source that way. So my first kind of, and maybe it's too basic of a question, but maybe not, is, well, how do we choose love, or how do we find love when we don't know what that means, or when we don't know how to choose it? And for me, my experience is that it's just what you said. It's there. It's already there. It's just an uncovering of the mess so that we can feel it, see it, be it, whatever. But that might feel a little intangible for people. So I'm curious to get your take for somebody that's like, maybe they're the busy professional and they're running a million miles a minute and they're really not tapped into source or to love, or maybe they just don't resonate with what you said. How would you guide somebody that feels disconnected from that, or that it feels foreign?
Yeah. Well, you said it so beautifully, based on what you just said. So let's say somebody doesn't believe in a higher power. They don't believe in God. They don't, let's take someone who's atheist, right? They still know what love is, because if they didn't know what it was, they wouldn't believe in it. And then therefore, if they didn't believe in it, they wouldn't even want it. And yet, and they do know what that energy of love is and feels like, because you can say, okay, well, do you have a pet? A lot more people have pets kind of than not, I think. So, yeah, I have a dog. I have a cat. I just love my cat. I just love my dog. Okay, can you explain that feeling for your pet? Oh, it's just this warm fuzzy. It just makes me want to protect it. It makes me smile. It brings this joyful peace to me. Or my kids. Do you have kids? I have kids. Oh my gosh, I love my kids. So you find something that you can intellectually say you love. Okay, well, what does that mean to you? What does that stir, to use that term, word love, for something outside of yourself? Now let's bring that back to you. And let's bring that back to, do you have that feeling of love for yourself? Not in an ego sense, but genuinely, that really gentle, loving, pure, wanting to protect, wanting only the best for, brings you joy. Do you have that for yourself? And when do you remember having that in your life? Who did you have? Maybe you didn't. Maybe you say, gosh, I had a really hard childhood. I had a mom and a dad that weren't present. And then when they were present, they weren't very kind, and they were really critical, and they were, just perfectionists, and everything I did was wrong. And okay, but did you have anybody that loved you? We all have. Oh my gosh, yes. It was my bus driver, Bill, that when I got on the bus early in the morning would give me this beautiful smile and I felt safe. Or it was a teacher, or it was, right? So it's being able to identify with the experience and the feeling of love within, and then bringing it back to yourself. And do you have that for yourself in that way that comes from, again, the higher place of joy, a smile, connection, wanting to protect?
That's so good. Yep.
Question?
Yeah. And I don't want to skip past some of the most basic stuff. It's so simple, but so not easy for a lot of us to practice. Embodying love, to me, is a whole thing, to figure out, how can I be love, and what does that look like? And so thank you for kind of fleshing that out a little bit. I didn't want to jump past that. And I think it's fitting to kick off this series really identifying what is love? What is it? What is it to love? What is it to be love? So Thank you for going down that path. That's great.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Also, based on what you just said, what I said wasn't that that is how you love it. We can't even start to identify with love for ourselves or anything or anyone else until we recognize what love means or has meant to us and where it comes from. Then what does it mean to love yourself? How do you love yourself? We hear all the time, well, you can't love someone else until you love yourself, or it's so important to love yourself. And then they just leave you there. And then really what happens is that your ego moves in and it goes, oh, okay, cool. I know what it means to love myself. It means to eat healthy. It means to go to the gym and work out, keep my body in shape. It means to have a good job. It means to be responsible financially. It means all these worldly plain things that, yeah, it's part of it. But you also have people that have all of that completely in check, right? Societally beautiful, great bodies, lots of money in the bank, great career, lots of letters behind, the education, and they're unhappy and they're lonely. Okay,
Mm,
well, that's because the love has come from a different space and they really have never met their true self, authentic self,
mm,
and therefore learned how to really love and honor and value themselves.
mm.
And when they do, and this is the work I do, when they do, all of a sudden everything changes, everything shifts. They're not just having better relationships within their current relationship or marriages, but if they're single, they're all of a sudden attracting the most amazing partnerships and partners they ever have.
Yeah.
They've had weight to lose or they have something that's not working in their life. All of a sudden it kind of magically just fixes itself.
Isn't that
So,
wild? I love
so
that.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for drawing that out. I was thinking back to a time when I'm currently single and was single at the time. And remember feeling one day just kind of like I think I had something exciting happen at work or got a promotion or when I launched this podcast, there are these moments when I find myself feeling a little bit more like, oh, I wish there was somebody here to celebrate this with. So then I'm asking myself, well, what is it that I'm looking for? What is it that I want in that partnership? Well, I might want them to say, "Wow, good job, Jen," or "Man, I'm proud of you," or whatever. And then I started thinking, well, anything I want from somebody else, I can give that to myself first. And that to me is that sort of relationship with self where I actually just wrote down what I would want somebody to say to me, and then I read it to myself. And I was like, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
so proud of you. And you
Yes.
can trust yourself to make good decisions. And so whether it's loving ourselves or trusting ourselves or affirmation, I think that asking myself, well, what is it that I want in a partnership and how can I give that to myself? I can't want a good I can want a good body in somebody else, but I can't want them to give me a good body for me, right? So the all of the superficial things, not superficial, all of the external material things that you mentioned are things
Yes.
that aren't the true relationship with self, right? The
Yes.
relationship with self has to do with how we treat ourselves, which is
Yeah.
what we're really looking for in a partner, I think. Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we cannot, not only can we not attract with regard to the experience of love, relationship, partnership, communication in or from someone else that we aren't able to truly, naturally, organically do for ourselves,
Hmm.
we will continue to, until we can do it organically, beautifully for ourselves, we will continue to attract the opposite of what we need and get angry and frustrated. Oh my Lord, how do I keep choosing all these bad people and partner? Well, you're not. You are attracting what the universe is trying to tell you you need and has yet to heal.
Okay, wait. We got to pause and emphasize this and tease this out a little bit, like the double click on this if we can. I
Yeah.
I agree with you, and if you can break that down for people, I think that would be really helpful because I think it is so common. We're like, well, why do I keep attracting XYZ and there is only this kind of men in the world? Men are all blah 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 or women are all blah blah blah. And so tell me more about that. What is that reflecting or what can somebody take from that? Maybe a real life example or what that
Mhm.
looks like for somebody.
Well, I'll say quickly, and this will be fun, I think, for your listeners. So, Dr. Harville Hendricks, world renowned therapist and a best-selling author, a dear friend of mine. We worked for 9 months together. We created a test called the Real Reveal to reveal the truth of who you are when it comes to love, the kind of mate you are, the kind of mate you attract and why, and the kind of mate you actually need and deserve for really amazing love. So the Real Reveal test, if they go to actually, they can just go to mylovedesign.com and click through and take the test. Or I think they can go to the realrevealtest.com too. We'll have to figure. I'll get that to you later. It's a free test. There's a more expensive, robust one, but you just take the basic test. So, and it's based on this very thing, this question that you just asked. After interviewing thousands of humans, primarily single, but many who are married and coupled from around the world, not only just myself, but also Harville, we found these patterns. And we started to dive into, why are people so fascinated by the term soulmate? What is this whole soulmate thing? And we always say, oh my gosh, if we have our soulmate, if we just meet our soulmate, we'll be so happy, it'll be perfect, and it'll be amazing. And yet what we found is that when most people say they found and met their soulmate, typically the story ends with, and it was abusive, and it was painful, and it was fiery, and it was messed up, and it was toxic. And I thought it was my soulmate, and oh my Lord, no, I just need to go find another soulmate and another soulmate. Well, yet at the same time, we'll say, well, we want to meet our soulmate for life. We want a person that we can be in love with and just spend the rest of our life with. So really what you're looking for on the highest level is your life mate. Mm-hmm. Soulmate comes along, though, and we have all this attraction as souls, as beings, to the soulmate, because the soulmate, to answer your question, your original question, the soul carries the journey. The soul carries the opportunity as the teacher and the student for everything that our soul's journey is craving and needing to experience the highest of love. And so our souls, whether you're in psychology or spirituality, whatever your belief system is, wherever you hover while you are alive, our soul, if you believe in it, craves and seeks all of the wounds that it has inside that haven't been healed yet. Oof. Just healing. That's it. So we are spiritually, karmically, energetically attracted to all of the wounds and other people that match our wound so we can heal it. And that's our soulmate. Our soulmate is our soul teacher. And that's why those darn relationships are the juiciest and the most, oh my Lord, it's the best sex. It's the deepest connections. It's the, oh my Lord, you're my person. And then, wait, how did this happen? How could you be so mean and nasty? That's how it was supposed to go.
Oh, this is like so juicy in all the right ways. I'm like, oh, it's so exciting. Oh, it's so painful. So if I'm understanding it right, let's just hypothetically here, you get into a soulmate relationship, and you and the other person decide and see and understand, oh, we karmically pulled each other in. And so now we're going to lean into healing these wounds. Does that happen? Or is it just like the soulmate is more to show up to be a mirror to show you the wounds, and then you got to leave and do the work on your own?
No. So, okay. So you're so good. You're very enlightened. You're so good. This is fun. The soul chooses the soul. That's why you say my soul. Soul says that person has all the crap you need. It's going to be great and fun and zesty, and it's just going to suck, and it's going to hurt so much. And so what you do with that depends on the growth you've had. It's the truth of your growth. And it's not bad. There's no shame involved. It's like, shoot, I suck. Oh my Lord, I suck at all relationships. I keep inviting the same crappy men and women. You call it crappy. That's your ego calling it crappy. And over and over and over. What the heck? And then your ego goes, there's no good women left. There are no good men left. No, you just haven't done the work. It's okay. It's cool. It's good. It's all right. It's honestly, Harville and I found it's over 80% of our society is stuck in this. That's why relationships are so difficult. That's why there's such a high divorce rate. Mm-hmm. And that's why most people that stay together married are actually not happy.
Yeah.
Not the plan. Marriage can be amazing. Yeah. So what happened, the issue, I believe, and I have many, and Harville's one of them, but many dear friends that are highly, highly notarized, respected relationship experts, therapists, psychiatrists, psychologists, but many of them will agree with me that today's system in counseling and therapy, especially when it comes to marriage, is really broken. It has a horrible success rate. It catapults more marriages to divorce, sadly, unknowingly and unintentionally, I believe, than into success and healing.
Mm.
Very few people that have been divorced that you'd say, did you ever go and see a marriage counselor and try to fix your marriage? They're going to say, yes, we did. In fact, we went to several and we just thought, holy crap, we're just not meant to be together. Most of those marriages should have been and could have been saved and could have been amazing, beautiful, healthy, and healed and could have been every single thing that they wanted when they first fell in love and said, will you marry me? And I said, yes. And that's like my big passion spot, healing those marriages. So anyway, the issue is that we don't have enough help. We don't have enough of the right guidance
Mm-hmm.
to get people when they're in that space with their soulmate where it's juicy, amazing, and they want it to work, to get past it, to go through the fire, to get to the clearing side where there's cool healing and peace. So then they can evolve together and be each other's life mate. Most people meet their soulmate and then they end because it was too painful. And that doesn't mean you condone or accept physical abuse, intense psychological abuse. No abuse is okay. But then it's really, what is the abuse about? Where does it come from? What is broken in that person? How can I still love that person, but love myself enough to separate, be apart, but also still energetically send love to that person so that they can hopefully start to heal if there's that ability and space to heal. If it's not too late, if it's not too much. We don't do that. We cut it off, cut it off, cut it off, blame, shame, criticize, move on, do the same thing over and over again. So my work is to get rid of all of that, to shift that and to change that. Yeah.
You're in a good line of work. I love
Yeah.
it. And challenging, I'm sure. So challenging. Yeah.
but an
So
honor.
how do we do that? Like what are I
Mhm.
know you cannot boil down your life's work to the next 5-10 minutes here, but how is the work that you do different than what you've heard of therapy, or experienced or whatever? What different kinds of processes would you take a couple through that's working? They've got this juicy, zesty, annoying relationship that's
Yeah,
painful. How do
yeah.
you bring them through the fire? What are the steps of that?
Yeah, so this literally is not meant to be a plug, and it's just, but it's truth and reality. So I launched mylovedesign.com to as an educational platform where people that's self-led, where members can walk their way through it. Whether you're single, you can walk your way through it so that you are better prepared or best prepared for your true partner when you meet them. And for married couples, it's also for married couples to heal themselves and their marriages. And it's $40. Think of what you spend honestly on counseling and therapy and all of that. It's 40 bucks.
Or on like drinks with a girlfriend who you're trying to get therapy from.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, we're creating groups around this. I'm very excited. So for one time, $40. It's called Building Your Love House. You go to mylovedesign.com. You click on the Love House build. It's $40. It's 11 steps. It has it's literally like having me, but instead you're doing it yourself. So you go, and it has 3 blueprints. You have a self-love blueprint. You have a blueprint for your either current partner that you're working on this relationship, and you do it on both sides, and or your future partner, energetically calling it out like vision boards. That stuff's real. I don't care what you say. It's real.
Mm-hmm.
The law of attraction, genuinely.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have a home and an office space, right? Because energetically, everything that we are connected to, attached to, hover around energetically is either at all times, it's either attracting love or repelling love. Even your space, it's attracting or repelling love. It's hardcore. And then within the blueprints, you have 17 love homework assignments, and they go really deep. You do them first for yourself. And then if you have a partner, you contrast and compare notes and blueprints with each other, and you learn so much. But and that's what starts the healing. And that's why I created this, because yes, it's been fun and rewarding to work with many, many, many people all over and to heal many, many marriages. Praise God. Amen. but we need more of it in this world, and I can't do it with everybody. And so I would love to. Um, and so this gives you the foundation to truly do it. And they're getting ready to bring this to churches and synagogues. I mean, we have a movement starting with these 11
Cool.
steps. Um, but you start there, but you'll learn so much about yourself, because the thing is one of the things that really keeps people stuck from growth is shame. You
Mm.
know, into Brene Brown stuff. It's really shame. It's a attachment. It's embarrassment. It's failure. It's like, no, 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 no. Love doesn't work that way. It's
Mm.
okay. It's like, again, no matter what you've done, no matter where you've been, no matter what you've experienced, right now, love is just sitting there waiting for you. It's just going, I just, like, I want you to have me, take me. Like, love is saying that. Like, have me. I want life to be amazing for you. Look at how beautiful it is when you look out the window. Come on. Let's go get it. Let's go have
Mm.
it.
Mm.
So,
That's such a powerful, and we talk about love being healing. And when I think of love, capital L love, I just think of power and the power that love has to override shame.
yeah,
And it's hard, I know, for any of us. All of us have things, I'm sure, shame, guilt, past, whatever. I feel like I failed. Whatever it might be. But some of the hardest thing, quote, I'm air quoting it, some of the hardest things in life, I feel like can be some of the most simple. I don't know, I can't remember who said it, if it was Eckhart Tolle or who said it, but if I'm holding a hot coal in my hand and it's burning my hand, what's the quickest way to not be hurting anymore? And it's just to simply drop it and let it go. And I think of shame that way sometimes too, or guilt or past stuff, that can this be as simple as me choosing to just drop this and let it go? And then how simple also can it be to choose to receive love?
yeah,
Because I think sometimes if we don't feel worthy of that, we block the healing power that love is. And so to move through that is not complex, but it's hard work, I guess. I mean, when you said the phrase earlier, like a lot of people aren't doing the work. And
they're not doing any of the work, the
yeah.
true necessary work. They're really, really not. They're trying.
Mhm.
They're
Mhm.
reading self-help books. They're going to counseling. They're hiring a coach. They're doing, but it's still a little off. So
One of the things you talked about when we first connected was, and I think you've touched on some of this maybe with the shame, is that people can kind of get in their own way and sabotage the love that's in their lives. Can you speak a little bit more to that?
when we're sabotaging love, most often we have no true awareness that we're even doing it. And yet it is attached to, when you look at it, what we were just talking about, shame.
Mm.
Something that again goes into what you were saying. Something in us has absolutely learned to trust and believe that we're not worthy of love, that we need to be embarrassed or ashamed of something we've done, or we've really failed, and so we're really broken. And so with that hidden awareness, we act out based on it. And so, therefore, we have really sabotaging behaviors that mostly we're unaware of. And the ones we are aware of, where you'll say something or do something, inside you'll go, oh my Lord, I can't believe I just did that. I just said that. I'm so embarrassed. I wish I could have done that differently. We still don't really change it most often, because also attached to that is a feeling of power and protection. When we get really angry, or if you really swear, you really let someone have it. You know, it's probably not the most effective way of handling your frustration and anger, but it feels really good to be pissed off,
Mhm.
right? With all the
Mhm.
neurotransmitters and the chemicals that run through the body, it's like freaking powerful, and I'm
Right?
mad. But energetically, it's keeping us absolutely stuck in quicksand. And so we sabotage through our behaviors that are attached to our shame and our belief that we're really not worthy. And you could have somebody with a really big ego say, ah, it's not true. I totally know I'm worthy. I'm an amazing catch. Look at me. Um, and yet, someone really coming from peace and love and a sense of healing would never say that.
Yep.
They would say that.
Mhm.
So when you see those people, you recognize those people, and people, I don't care what side of the political fence you're on, but Trump is a big one that everybody can basically on either side go, guy has a huge ego and he can act really ugly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's really easy to judge because it's uncomfortable. But if you really look at what that's about, for as many things as some people can say he does really well in business or whatever, I don't know. Again, no judgment. What he's really saying is somewhere when I was a little kid, someone didn't see me, someone didn't hear me, someone didn't love me. And that was really uncomfortable and really painful. So I'm just going to be super, super puffed up and strong in my ego. And I'm going to act like this so that nothing hurts me, nothing penetrates me. And I'm just going to be a big bully because I've been taught since a young age that love hurts and people hurt and nothing's safe.
Mm.
So we're all doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I even did that with my husband. I've healed hundreds and hundreds of marriages. And I was doing that with my husband up until a freaking year ago. And I didn't even know. I didn't.
How did you become aware of it? Was he like, honey?
My God, how long is this going to take, Kailen? I had a massive, it wasn't just a health scare, it was a health reality. I'm considered right now a medical miracle at Mayo. Praise God.
Mm.
But it was such a reality check for me that I had to get so humbled in the reality of the news that I was given that I really, the term broken open. I mean, I've done a lot of work, a lot of healing. My friends are the best in the world in spirit. Marianne Williamson's a friend of mine. I mean, I've had access to and blessed to be around and to train with and to coach and to be healed by the best of the best, but I still had my shit. Right?
Yeah.
And you don't, and so I guess I had to be so broken open from this diagnosis that all of a sudden the behaviors that I still had that my husband would be so forgiving of, that really he didn't need to be and didn't deserve. I can't explain it.
Yeah.
It was actually just real love on his side, which is really beautiful, I guess. Yes. But all of a sudden I was feeling it, a tone I would use, and I would, my ego still would excuse it as, I'm freaking exhausted. I just coached and trained and healed how many people today, and I did this over here and this over here, and I'm excited. So I'm going to be a little pissy and a little bitchy right now. And then all of a sudden I'm like, no, that doesn't feel good in my spirit to speak with that tone. It doesn't feel good in my spirit, my soul, my stomach, my solar plexus, my chakra, whatever you want to call it. That doesn't feel good. So I want to change it. I don't want that in there anymore. I want to heal that. I want to know, where does that come from? So and that's part of self-love. You become your own counselor.
Yeah.
Right? You become your greatest teacher and your greatest lover, and just go, okay, cool. Wow. If I only have a little bit of time left on this planet, how do I want to be? What do I want to take with me? Like, for real, what do I want to leave for the people I say I love or the people I don't even know? So I got to that space.
Hmm.
And so now my husband and I have the best marriage we've ever had. I mean, it's awesome.
Aww, I love hearing that. It's so good to hear the success stories, if you will. And part of why I asked that question is, when we talk about the blind spots that we have, we're self-sabotaging and we don't see it a lot of the time. And some of it we might see and ego gets in the way. So I was curious with you, how you saw it. And I think that's probably a pretty common story that maybe there were whispers to you earlier on, right? That you weren't paying attention to. And then it takes the breaking open sometimes for us to hear the scream and go, okay, and get fed up and start and be self-aware, more self-aware then in those moments where we can change that. But also you were open to it. You were ready at that time. You were open to it. And I think that's important if people are listening today and they're saying, well, I really want a partner and I really want love. I mean, the big takeaway for me right now is like, great, get ready to do some work. Like, are you ready and open for that? Because if you want great love, it's going to require something of you other than gimme, gimme, gimme.
Well, yes. And that's going back to the whole building your love house at my love design. Because we even have our singles building their love houses, because I'm saying, just because you're single and just because you want a relationship does not mean you're ready. You have to go, you have to build your love house so real love can move in, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and going through that process, or you will end up in the same situation over and over again. And it's not to be confusing when I was saying earlier about the soulmate, like, but it's at what level of soulmate do you want to, you know, how long do you want to continue to repeat the patterns to heal? Like, how about let's work on healing them ourselves. And then whatever is left, the residual piece with our soulmate, our person, or our life mate, ooh, that's good stuff. That's the glue. That's the bonding material, the true bonding material.
That's
You know,
such a powerful reframe because we often see it as like, and I'm sure some of them are red flags, right? That's the first thing that came to mind. But it's also like, again, if I'm pulling in what my soul needs, that red flag has a matching red flag on my side if I'm willing to see it, right?
well, let me clarify that one.
Yes, please.
Yeah, no, that's really good. So here's when you really, a red flag in someone else does not mean that you always have that red flag within yourself.
Okay.
So when I say that there's matching brokenness, or the person has the brokenness you need, how about let's say that a red flag can say when you are self-aware enough and you love yourself for real, a person can have a red flag, and the love inside yourself sees it immediately and goes, "Oh, that's a red flag. That's unhealthy for me and unhealthy for my soul. So I'm just not going to go there." It's not, I'm going to go there and go there and go there and go there, and then be super hurt, mad, pissed off that this person is not who they were when I met them. They were showing you constantly who they were. You were just choosing. So your brokenness then. So I guess you were half correct and half not. So
Yeah.
you either recognize it and you go, that makes me sad for that person, not in a sarcastic way, in a loving way. Makes me sad for that person that's how they're showing up in life. That's how I'm a great catch. I'm a great single woman. And, and I'm excited to be in a relationship and they seem like a great guy. But yeah, that behavior, no, I've been there and nope, not doing that anymore. So sending you love, goodbye, not even going on a second date. Nope. Or ending the
Yeah.
relationship after the third date. Nope. Or if you bring it in, then it is going back to what I said earlier. Your wound is gone. I guess I need that darn wound, but then with all the good help, with good help, I should say. How
Yeah.
can we work this out? You're constantly late. I caught you lying. You drink too much alcohol. Okay. And I'm still with you. You're not a bad person. You're clearly in pain because people who aren't in pain don't abuse alcohol. People who are in pain don't lie, or people that are healthy don't lie. Okay, where's the pain coming from that's triggering addiction, triggering abusive behavior tactics, triggering being late, triggering lying, all these things that aren't honoring your higher self that you're dumping on other people. I see a really beautiful person in there. I want to potentially be with that person, but only if you're willing to do the work and start healing that shit. Start
Yeah.
healing. And I love you or I'm falling in love with you and I have my crap too. And hey, let's work on this together. Let's build our love houses together. And let's see if we can be together. And let's make sure we're on this really beautiful trajectory of healing. If not, so cool meeting you. Thank you for the experience. I wish you lots of luck and love. I'm going to keep going and see if I can find my person. That's what should be happening. That's what's not happening.
When you're talking about the red flags versus like them not being a match the same way necessarily like drawing in a wounded person is, to me I feel like a wound is different than a red flag, and in my past experiences the wounds you don't see really as easily. To like if I have I grew up and felt abandoned, so I have this kind of deep seated thing that crops up every once in a while, like I'm afraid they're going to leave me. That to me feels like a wound, which is
Yes.
different than a red flag of somebody consistently lying to me. Those feel like different things. Yes, so we could put them in different categories.
All,
Or would you say all wounds are red flags?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, that's what I was looking for. Some clarity on that. Interesting.
Yeah, it's me with my red flag, my soul going, I need help over here. I messed up in these areas. And most people don't challenge me on them. And most people stay with me and they just keep letting me do this and allowing me to do this without any sort of loving confrontation. I'm around a super codependent family and codependent friends and, passive aggressive this. And so I'm hovering in, I guess this is okay behavior because people are tolerating it. No,
Mm,
it's a cry for help.
yeah.
It's a cry for help,
Mm,
but it gets characterized in in psychology. It gets characterized in social media, characterized in just in society that they're bad people. They're not bad people. They're hurting people. They're really wounded people. All the darkness, all the crap that's in this world that makes it really painful for
mm,
all of us, they're wounded little kids.
yeah. So, do you think that, I
Oh, go
mean,
ahead. Yeah.
I think that we've never fully arrived, quote unquote, in our growth in life. For somebody that's single or maybe in a relationship too, but I'm thinking about somebody that's single that's like, well, when will I be ready? Like, I don't want to call in another wounded person. How much work, like, when am I ready enough? If we've never fully arrived, like, when am I ready? How do I know?
Yeah. Well, there's no such thing as not calling in a wounded person.
Yeah. Okay.
Everybody's got a wound.
Yeah.
Everybody has one. I
Yep.
still have them. I've got
Yep.
some with my mom still. I'm like still trying to work it out.
Mhm.
Um, so it's recognizing the level of wounding, recognizing the space of healing that you are in and continuing to have, and then doing this, I mean, really authentically, honestly, in a self loving way with yourself. If you're able to do that, you're ready to start
Mhm.
trying. And
Mhm.
then looking for it and then identifying that in someone else. And
Mhm.
not only identifying it, because we're really perceptive, we're all intuitive and we all feel each other's energy. It's just whether or not um, we trust ourselves to trust what we're feeling, but we should. Um, and then being able to just ask them and say, hey, I mean, if you're looking for your person, you want to be able to you're vetting this person to see is this your person, so you should be able to talk. We're humans. You should be able to ask about any single question and see how they respond. You'll know how they respond. Will tell you if that's potentially your person or not. So if you say, hey, really had a great time with you tonight, it was a really fun date, first date, um, what do you think you have left? It's kind of wounded inside of you. And some people will be like, what? you know nah, that's a weird question. Or not. Or your person's going to be like, man, that's heavy. I don't know. Let me think about that. What makes you ask that? And then all of a sudden you start bonding over the connection of that communication,
Sure.
right? Or, well, I used to have this or had that, or, oh my gosh, okay, this is kind of heavy and deep. I can't believe you're asking this. But, when I was with my ex, and not to bring up my ex because I know we're not supposed to do that, the things that I did wrong and I probably could have done differently was this. But this is cool. I like that we're talking about this. Next thing you know, you're like, this guy's hot. This is so good. This is juicy. This is cool. It's honest and real.
Yeah.
You know? Um, So how do you know when you're ready enough? When you love yourself, you're protective of yourself in a healthy way, in a gentle way, when you're paying attention to red flags, when you're honoring them, when you're honoring the red flags within yourself and your own behavior. Like I
Mm.
said, things that I could say or a tone I could have with my husband 2 years ago or before a health diagnosis. I'd blow off in my head because the rest of me is pretty darn great. No, all of a sudden it's like, oh, that feels kind of icky. I don't want even that in me.
Yeah. Can
So
you
it's
go through some red flags and green flags?
how about I'll do red and yellow? So a red flag would be somebody who is um, obviously constantly late, who if they drink alcohol, they drink to the point of where they're throwing them back. Because
Mm-hmm.
you have one, two, depending on your size and this and that, maybe three. But really, really, on a first date, you shouldn't have more than two, male, female. I
Mm-hmm.
don't care, just two. Again, you depend. Yeah, one, none. Um, a lot of self absorption, a lot of me talk, no space for you to figure out who you are, to really, and not just, you can tell the difference. Your soul can feel the difference energetically between a surface level, I'm just asking a question to get an answer, or I really want to know about you. Like, tell me who are you, right?
Yeah.
That's a red flag. Someone who's late all the time, someone who trashes their ex, who says, "Oh my lord, my ex, he or she was totally she." This is what men usually say. She was crazy. She was crazy. They'll give you her mental health diagnosis. She was an alcoholic. She was this. She was that. And then women will say he was abusive. He was okay. Well, probably truth to everything they're saying. It's how are they saying it? It's why are they saying it? Are they saying it with some self-reflection, some awareness, some compassion? Where they also learn something that, hey, you weren't just with an abusive alcoholic. You attracted an abusive alcoholic and you stayed and you fell in love and you got married or you stayed
Mhm.
with them for 3 years. It's not all in them. Did you learn that? If they haven't, and it's like I'm the shining, specimen of amazing person or human, and my exes are all nuts and addicts, that's a massive red flag.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think, and the other little things are like little idiosyncrasies that are more yellow flags. If it's, shoot, I had one and I lost it now, but it does happen a lot. If you have somebody again who's late and you see a pattern, but everything else about them is amazing, when you finally say, hey, I'm going to be honest with you, I really like you. And I know you have a busy life and a busy schedule, but I've just kind of noticed you're late a lot and it just doesn't feel good to me. Their response should be, thank you so much for telling me that. Thank you so much for sharing how you feel about that. You know what? You're right. I do have a tendency to be late and I know it's not respectful. And so I'm going to change that.
It seems like
Right.
such of a simple thing, but as you're saying that, why does being late indicate a red or yellow flag to you? What does being late communicate to you?
That you don't matter.
Right.
Your time is not as valuable as mine. I'm more important than you are.
Yeah.
That's and sometimes it's an innocent, genuinely an innocent learned crappy behavior that you've just
Hmm.
been able to get away with. But it's not kind. But if the difference is, do you care or not? If you don't care, that's a red flag. If you care, the same behavior, but the response to it, then it's a yellow flag. And you
One, I
work
think
through.
you touched on something that was so valuable. When we have high enough self-worth, we'll bring that up because you were saying this earlier. We don't quote unquote let people get away with that behavior when we have high self-worth because we value our time, because I respect myself. This may be a crappy learned behavior and it's still not okay with me. So then how to sort of set that boundary or set that expectation to somebody like that may not have ever been called on it before,
There you
or
go.
and it doesn't have to be a horribly mean call out, but I think, and then like you said, then they have a choice. But I
Yes.
think so often we're moving so fast, or if we don't have that high self-worth, we might be looking at red flags, yellow flags, green flags as a checklist rather than understanding what's beneath that. What is that really communicating to me if you drink so much that even though you drove me here, I'm afraid to get in a car with you? It's
Yeah.
not just about the alcohol at that point. It's a lack of presence and awareness and care. And it demonstrates a lot of other things that we might overlook when we're just analyzing the flag.
And it's going with how it feels in your body. If
Mm-hmm.
something doesn't feel good, that's
Mm-hmm.
attached to the kind of boundaries we either had set in a healthy, beautiful way by our parents for us when we were little, where we taught healthy boundaries and our value of our boundaries, or not. Are they really loosey goosey? Do we not have any? There's some people that really don't have any boundaries. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And literally crazy. It brings craziness out. And so it's just honoring again, what are we feeling, connecting to that feeling, talking to that feeling, saying, okay, I'm feeling this, I'm feeling you. Okay, what are you? What's showing up? What is that triggering for me? What does that mean for me? What is that attached to? What's the memory? And all of a sudden you go through this whole kind of a healthy loop of kind of a check-in, and then you apply it to that partnership, that relationship. It can be with anybody. It can be with your sister, your mom, your dad, your friend, your partner, your employee, your employer, your doesn't matter. The difference is that you either just recognize it and decide what you want to do with it, or you say, if the person matters enough on some level to you in your life, you say, hey, and again, most people don't do this or they don't do it properly or effectively. Say, hey, when you said that, when you did that, when this happened, it made me feel like this. I felt like this. And that's a whole other thing of they'll made me feel. And then you say, well, you don't make me feel. Yeah, we do make each other feel certain things. That's, again, a
Mm-hmm.
whole other subject.
Mm-hmm.
But it made that behavior, that word, that whatever, created the feeling within me of this and it doesn't feel good. And I really like you. And I think you seem like a really great person, or you are a really great person. And so I don't know if you're aware that you do these things, or I'd love to understand why you think you do those things, because, hey, I'd love to keep growing here with you in our sisterhood, in our friendship, as boss and employee, as da 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 da. And a healthy human will meet you where you're at. They won't
Yeah.
act, they won't do the big term with gaslighting, um, ugh, all the
Let's talk.
narcissistic.
Can we go there too with the gaslighting and narcissistic behavior thing? Because when you said
Yeah,
earlier that men will call women crazy, I hear a lot of women say he was narcissistic. And so I'm glad that there's awareness on it, but I'd love you to peel that apart a little bit for us if you could.
yeah. Well, it's really easy to give people the title of narcissist. And we all have a little of it. That's part of how we honestly navigate in humanity and society today. We sadly have to,
Hmm.
but it has to be balanced by far more love and healing and healthy awareness and growth, right? So, what can show up as a narcissistic word or tendency is kind of quickly diluted by love and good stuff. We'll talk this again. So much to talk about.
So what is narcissistic behavior? Let's maybe just to give a quick
Not
outline of
everybody,
that.
narcissism is actually it's a clinical diagnosis. You can be diagnosed with this. Um, at one point in time, again, really going back to childhood, your most important needs, fundamental spiritual, psychological needs, were not met, and something within your psyche to survive had to create whatever it was so that that didn't hurt so badly and feel so alone and so scary as a little tyke, a little being. And that's just, and you grew with that, and you learned, you came to believe that no one cares about you. So therefore your anecdote to that is, well, then I just won't care about you. Yet you can have a really beautiful heart inside that wants to care about so many and wants to feel loved. But you've been absolutely taught without a doubt it's either doesn't exist or it's not safe. So you have people out there. So really, they're really hyper broken people. And we're being told that the narcissist is like a bad, evil. They're just so wounded. You don't have to be around them. You don't have to, you don't, which is even sad because that's self perpetuating with their belief, right?
Mhm.
So, but instead, so it's that person that just can't hear you. They can't, because that means they're being vulnerable if they hear you. So they have to deflect. They have to gaslight you. Everything they're doing that you say as a human, if you're in a relationship with someone who's narcissistic or narcissistically abusive, because it's really abusive to your spirit, the feeling is really icky and painful and lonely and uncomfortable. You have to be able to look at them and go, they're just continuing the pattern of what they've learned is the only thing that's safe for them. They can't safely connect with me. They can't safely hear me because that means they're being vulnerable. If they're vulnerable, that means they're going to get hurt. They're going to get crushed by us. That's
Mhm.
what their psyche believes. So we have to stop looking so much at all the bad narcissists out there and look at ourselves and go, why are we in this relationship? Not in a shame way. Stop complaining about your narcissistic boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, and just go, I'm with a really, really, really wounded person that is scared to death to be vulnerable on any level. And yet I'm sitting here staying in this, perpetuating their pain. I'm perpetuating their belief system. And I'm bitching about it and complaining about it. And I'm allowing myself, I'm not even loving myself by being in this relationship. I'm not loving myself by allowing myself to stay in it and be angry at them. Now I'm indirectly kind of possibly becoming narcissistic
Mm.
myself, right? Instead of just going, oh man, I tried. I really, so many cool things about this person. Really fell in love with this person. Really see that there are so many things that could be so amazing. If you believe in God, that God created them to be, that was amazing. But whatever woundedness they had that I am aware of or I'm not aware of, I can't fix it. So I'm not going to stay in the relationship and sit and listen to 5,000 experts on narcissistic abuse and gray this and that, blah, blah, blah. And here's how to, no, I'm just going to say, I see you. I see you. I see you, you asshole. I see you. You're a narcissist. No, I see you. and I'm so sorry this doesn't work. And they won't be able to hear this anyway, but you're doing it kind of for yourself. And maybe a spark of them could. And you just say, because I do love you, even with all that, I do love you as a person, a being, but I really also love myself. I'm going to back out of this relationship because I don't want to carry anger and resentment towards you. And I don't want to continue my life in this pattern. So
Mhm.
thank you so much for showing me who you are. Not like, thanks for showing me who you are. Thank you for showing me who you are. I'm just going to continue to send you love. And I'm going to go over here and I'm going to love myself. And I'm going to, you're not going to say to them, you don't need to hurt them, or you don't have to go, I'm going to find somebody who's not a jerk like you. I'm just going to say, I'm just going to go over here. But I love you.
I love this. So we
Ah,
haven't talked about this until this moment, and I'm just learning, or I think perceiving what your frustration is around this conversation, which is that we've got the narcissistic behavior and it's not acceptable and it's not okay and it's not healthy, and we can all recognize that. But
yeah,
on the other side, we also have a choice. And so correct me if I'm wrong, but is the frustration coming from the fact that we've got a lot of people bitching and doing nothing about, not really doing anything about it, or not
100%.
choosing for themselves? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's like I see all of these really brilliant experts in narcissism, and I'm not seeing anything. I'm not seeing a healthy way out that isn't, especially that isn't attached to being stuck in your own anger, your own form of narcissism, your own form of. It's just that's the issue. That's the issue.
And the question, so, well, one of the questions is, well, why do people stay? And I think it comes back to a lot of what we've been talking about: low self-worth and a lack of self-love,
Yes.
because they somewhere deep inside think that that's what they're worthy or deserving of. Because if they didn't believe that to be true, they wouldn't be choosing, they wouldn't be allowing that in their life. They would at some point get to a point of, I don't deserve to be treated XYZ ways. And it doesn't, I appreciate the way that you're putting it. It doesn't have to be an FU. Although I will say, like, when it's abusive, it's a real thing to be, for people to kind of get the gumption to stand up to a situation, or to walk out if there's real fear
Yeah.
there of some
Yeah.
kind of abuse.
Yeah.
That's another layer to it, obviously, that needs sensitivity. But yeah.
Yeah, but it's what we were saying earlier with regard to your soul choosing the person that has the wounds that your soul needs to heal. And even if it's just for the moment, just to have that wake up call and that awareness. So again, it's why are you staying in that relationship? What wound is it? Right, what the matching wound is, we've all heard this, but I'll say it again. The matching wound is I choose a narcissist. I choose somebody who doesn't see me, abandons me because I came from abandonment. My mom did, I'm just speaking in general. My mom didn't see me. My mom abandoned me. My dad abandoned me. Someone abandoned me. I have a big hole there. I have a big wound there. I'm just going to keep that going until it heals. So we don't know logically that's what's happening, but that's what our soul is doing. It can be that, or it can be I was the oldest child. It's just a scenario. I was the oldest child. I had a mother who or a father who was an alcoholic. I was the one that was the parent, and my parent was the child. And I gained my safety and security from being large and in charge in my family and making sure my mom was happy and okay, and my dad was happy and okay, and as the parent since the age of 3. And so now I'm going to choose this person that has narcissistic behavior because I can be in control of them. I can be in charge. I can see their wounds and I can be stronger and better and healthier and I'll fix this. So again, it's another way of that wound trying to find a way to heal itself, but it's not and it can't because it's stuck in the density of the ego space and it hasn't had enough of the right help to help move them into a higher level of truth and awareness to break that and to get out of that. And again,
Stuck
that is
in
the
the
right.
density of the ego space. I haven't
Yeah,
heard that before, but that makes so much sense. Stuck in the density of the ego space.
that's what it is. That's all it is. Everywhere. With every disconnect we have with any human being, that is what it is. And it's okay. It's okay. But you just want to get to a point where you're aware enough of it that you go, okay, now how do we actually change this pattern? Because this is exhausting.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's we're we're really punctuating that the importance of healing those things within us one way or another. The universe is going to keep giving us those opportunities, and so we can run away from it over and over and over and keep
Yeah.
feeling the same pain. That's ultimately what it is. The wound gets just reopened and we just keep feeling the same pain until we do the work to heal it.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get to do fun matchmaking things in the dating industry. Um, tell me a little bit what that's like.
Whew. Well, it's very hard work. I'm being serious. And when people come to me, which is why I have love architect, love design, and then the training that I have, is they come to me and they say, "Oh, you matched my friend. It's so great. They seem so in love," or, "Oh, I saw you on TV," or, "I heard you're one of the best," or blah blah blah. Find me a great guy or find me a great gal, and I'll say, "Okay, awesome, cool. I'll do my best if we're meant to work together. But who are you? Let's find out who you are." And they're like, "Oh, I have a great job, blah, 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 blah." And I'll say, "That's fabulous. Okay, but who are you really? Like what? Like what does love mean to you? How does love show up for you? How do you screw love up?" "Oh, I don't screw love up. It's just, oh my gosh, you would not believe the last guy I was with or the last woman I was with." And I'm like, "No, no, 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 nope. If you're going to invest in me and you want me to do this for you so that you're actually happy and in love, we're going to do this so differently." And so really diving into the truth, the reality of who they are, which uncovers a lot that's really uncomfortable for them, that goes deeper than probably most therapy, with love, with tough love, to break open, break through these things. And then once I finally get to that part of who my client really is, then it's super fun. Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And and it's interesting because I have two clients that I'm working with right now. One has done a lot of amazing work. She's in a really beautiful space, and she's just a joy. And it's so, and I think even like on some higher energetic level, it's attracting all of those matches for her. So it's like we just have a blast interviewing and finding these guys, and just like, oh, I can't wait till they meet. And then I have another client who is really, really not at her own fault, but I love her, but she's really stuck in the hype that society has given her because of her name and her power. And that's what she's been meeting men through. And so she's coming from that focus, and I've got to break her down. I have to break her. I mean,
Wow.
to break her down. And I have to get her so raw and so real so her soul can have what she wants. And if I were to give her the men she said she wanted, she'd be freaking miserable. Her ego would be happy for a couple of years, but she'd be miserable, and she'd end up in the same spiral. So yeah, it's cute and sweet and matchmaking. But when people say, "Oh, so you're a matchmaker," I literally have like a visceral reaction to it, because I'm like, "Oh God, I wish it was that easy."
Right.
But it is really valuable, important to work, or it should be.
Mm-hmm.
And when I have the chance to really have two really neat, healthy, evolved souls finally meet, other than healing marriages and family dynamics, there's nothing more romantic, beautiful, or better. Seriously, but it's really hard work in today's society. It's really hard work.
Oh, I can only imagine. Yeah.
Yeah,
With people and the distractions and maybe some of the lack of self-awareness, that's one side of it. I don't want to speak for you. I imagine, I mean, myself, I got on dating apps and then I got off and then I got back on, and I was just like, I don't want to have what I'm really conscious of personally, and maybe I'm taking this on a too far of a tangent, but I want to keep my energy in a really great place. And then if I'm not mentally in the right space and I get on an app and I get discouraged by this, I'm protective of that. So normally I have a very high vibe energy, not, and I don't mean perky, I just mean like a loving positive outlook on life. But I was like, oh, I don't want this to jade me. I need to reframe how I approach this, because it was starting to have just not horribly, but enough of a little grip and a negative mindset of like, oh, I'm gonna have to quote unquote weed through things and take time and take energy. And so I'm guessing also maybe there are some, well, you're in a different arena with elite matchmaking. So many of those people, maybe I'm assuming, aren't doing this approach first. But if they are, they're probably coming to you a little bit worn down too from those experiences.
Are you talking about the singles or the matchmakers out there?
The singles that are coming to you that are just worn down or discouraged, or so that it makes your job harder because now it's they got to kind of recalibrate or something. Is that accurate or no?
Well, the majority are coming to me worn down and broken
Yeah.
and tired. Whether
Yeah.
it's from other matchmaking services, dating services, online experience,
Got it.
past relationships, their own stuff that they're doing they're not aware of. Yeah, they're coming to me like that, frustrated. um, and then again, thinking I'm just going to put a warm blanket on them and a warm bath and make it easy and comfortable. And it's like, no, I know, honey, I'm so sorry, but we'll get you where you want to go this time. But we have a little more discomfort,
We got to
possibly.
walk through fire first. Yeah.
Oh, it will be worth it this time, and I'll be with
Yeah.
you. You won't be alone.
Yeah.
The bottom line is that if they don't do the work, they're not going to be happy.
Mm.
It's not about the other person, it's about yourself. Bottom line. If you're
Yeah.
single, look at you. And it's not look at you like, look at you, what are you doing wrong? It's look at you, right?
Mhm.
So I'm sitting here, I'm single. It might be that. I'm sitting here and I'm single. I've done a lot of really good work. I know I have. I really love myself more than I ever have. I feel more peace than I ever have. And so I'm single because I've done all that work. And we're in a really sad, messed up world right now. And it's really hard to find a guy that's kind of there. It doesn't make me better. It's like, it's tough. So that's why I'm single. Or I'm single because I haven't done much work. I thought I had, or I have really bad work and it's messed up and I'm in pain and I have a lot of sabotaging behaviors and I don't have enough truth tellers around me to confront me on it. And so I'm staying stuck in a bad spiral and every relationship ends up sucking. So
Hmm.
there, because I haven't done my work.
Yeah.
It's never about the other person. It is always about us.
That's a good period. End of story. That's a good punctuation. Okay, I know I've taken so much of your time. I do want to have you share a little bit about a potential event that you're working on. So we're in Minnesota and so fun. We didn't record in person today because of weather things and tech issues. But we're both local in Minnesota and you're working on some fun things. So would you mind just sharing about that?
Well, yeah, it's interesting. It's really come full circle. So I've been, on the matchmaking and dating side for over 27 years, so almost, we just say almost 30 years. And, I have been able to, blessed and able to build my career to a point of where, I'm in society. I'm working with, big names and powerful people and 99%, referral based. And I charge a lot of money and give a lot back.
Hmm.
But it wasn't really fulfilling for me. So I just sort of sat back with my team here and I thought, I want everyone to know love. We're all meant to know love. We're all meant to have love and to experience love and to have our great partner. So and I look at all the competition out there, the dating services, the matchmaking services, the online stuff, and I look at what they're charging and I look at what people are getting for it. I'm like, okay, I'm in a position where I'm blessed where I can basically say, okay, I can afford to give the best product ever and the best service and the best experience and barely have to charge a thing anymore. I don't, I literally, like, I'm going to beat, so I'm designing and creating programs that beat all my competition's prices, like dramatically, and give them 10 times the service and then love and the experience of success in the end. Because my gosh, someone's got to do it. And, um, and so I'm launching that. So I'm very excited about that. I'm in the process of training love designers. If anyone wants to help and start helping me match,
Ooh.
let me know, people. I'm excited for that, really. But I want to take on Minnesota. I want to match. I'm trying to come up with something fun. We'll either try to launch it. We'll see how it goes. I'm hiring a publicist now that's local, either before Valentine's or after Valentine's, to do like a big love healing match off. Just something massive. I don't know. Just to get as many singles aware and evolved and in a space where they can really find each other, meet each other, barely charge anything. So it's affordable to everybody, like comfortably affordable, and just let them have at each other. And let's just start changing and shifting the energy even here in our home state. Uh,
Hmm.
and so I'm in the thought design creating process, but I definitely will do it. How it's going to show up, I don't know, but it will be done. And
Cool.
maybe you can do it with me.
Yeah. I'm game. I'm up for it. You let me know, Kaylin.
Cool. Yeah.
Great. This has been such a beautiful time. Thank you for your work in helping change the landscape and perpetuating what I believe is the most powerful force in the universe, which is love,
Amen.
and shining light on that and empowering people to find that. I appreciate that. This is so much more than a call about quote unquote matchmaking and how you're designing love and helping people find it in themselves first. So thank you. And thank you for your time today.
Thank you. It's been a joy. It's really nice
Yeah.
talking.